Hey, so we had a nice big rain yesterday, and I just came out here to check on the carrots to see if I did need to remove the cardboard. So I did remove that from over there because their sprouts started coming up. But what made me go in the house and grab my phone, because I wasn't planning on recording anything right this second, was the fact that in the video, when I talked about how I almost decapitated a whole tomato plant, and I decided to leave it in the ground because I thought maybe a sucker would come up. I said I'm going to come back and give you an update on it. Well, I came out here and I didn't realize it was going to get this big. That little teeny tiny sucker that was at the base of, well, not at the base, but at the ground level, the dirt level where I planted this tomato plant has gotten, I'm just going to show you. Look at that. So this was a sucker. You can see that it came out right here, which the main stock originally was this part right here. You can't really see it because this is kind of taken over, but it was going up like that, and I accidentally ripped that off instead of ripping this part off. Now the leaves have curled up, and it's not because of lack of water. I'm not exactly sure what happened with this. I'm gonna have to do some research on it because this has been watered very heavily. I have turned the sprinklers on, and then it rains like every 2 days. It rained in the past week, so I know that this soil itself is nice and moist, but I do want to just show you this part. This is amazing. I mean, it was literally a teeny tiny sucker, maybe not even a week ago. I just love seeing how nature, how it can take care of itself, how God created these things to grow, how I didn't do anything. I actually almost killed the plant, but I said I'm just going to leave it and let it do what it's going to do, and it still is going to produce fruit. I could have pulled that. I almost thought about pulling that plant up and planting something else there, and that would have been a waste of a plant because it actually came back. So I'm excited about that. While I'm here, I am going to just show you something, because a lot of people get confused and worried when they see this happening in their garden beds. So I'm kind of stepped back, but I'm going to zoom in really quick. Right there beside those tomato plants are mushrooms, and they're growing in multiple places throughout this garden bed. It's probably because of all the rain. Let me see if I found another one. Like right there. It's probably because of all the rain, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's some even where the carrots are coming up. This actually means that your soil is healthy. The fact that the mushrooms are growing, and they actually only stay. I don't see any more. I don't think they only stay for a day or two, and then they die, or and it's fine. It feeds the soil. I don't see any in this bed. Yeah, so don't pull them up. Just leave them where they are. They're not taking any nutrients from your plants. And they will actually go, once they die back, they'll send their nutrients back into the ground. So don't worry about it. Don't panic. Leave it where it is, and it'll take care of itself. I came over here to check on this lettuce that me and the girls put in. It's gotten a little bigger because they were really small, and they were dying in those little cells over there. So that's going to produce. It's probably time for me to fertilize this bed. The broccoli and cauliflower here, part of it's getting stunted over here, but they are still planted very close, and I have decided I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to let them stay where they are. I'll just try to fertilize as much as I can so that they get the nutrients that they need. I planted this lettuce over here that is going to a head already. Isn't that cute? This little little lettuce. That's my first time planting that lettuce. The mustards are doing okay. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fertilize this bed because you can see some of my bok choy got some yellow going on there. And I know in the previous video, I stated that I was planting them close together, knowing that they should be spaced out way more than that. But that's mainly for nutrients. And so I need to add more nutrients. So this mint I thought was dead, and I wish I would have got it on video. I was like distraught because it was I bought it as a big plant. So it was a little bit more expensive than I would normally spend on a started plant. I see something that I need to do over here. It's a little more expensive than I would have normally spent on a started plant. So I was a little bit uneasy about the idea that I had killed it. But again, I just stuck it in there, and because I did that, that mint came back. So I just got me some straw because I noticed that my potatoes started peeking through, and so I want some mulch because there's some grass encroaching the tomatoes. And so I had to wait for them to start peeking up through the ground before I actually put the mulch down, so that I didn't stifle it from growing, getting the sun it needs and growing. So this video ended up being a little bit more informative than I expected. And I'm still going to let it get some sun, but I do want to go ahead and mulch around it because this is right at the end of where I started to work. This is an added space in the garden, and so as you can see, the grass is kind of coming up here. I didn't get a chance to put wood chips down and cardboard like I did here, and this actually grass and weeds are growing here, so I got to redo that. But as you can see, this is literally where I'm just expanding the garden space. So you can see like this large piece right here is growing. My lawnmower is still out of commission, and I paid someone to cut the grass for me. They didn't really go all the way down like I'd like. I think they do that on purpose. I ain't trying to give away some information, but your lawn care person probably isn't going to cut it all the way down because they want you to have them come back more often. And I ain't falling for it. No, I'm joking. I understand it's a business. But for me, and the way my pockets work, and the fact that I prefer to do it myself, me and this equipment is going to have it out because none of it is working for me. So I had no choice but to hire someone last week. And the grass is, you can't really see it. The video isn't shown, but it's like nothing was done. And although I know grass grows fast in the spring, it looked like nothing was done like the next day. So I have feelings about that. So I got some issues. I just walked over here where my sweet potato slips were planted, and they are gone. And they're not just withered over. They're actually gone. So we must have some type of a pest. Now I'm going to see here. Yeah, they are just gone. More research needs to be done about that because I got some feelings about that. Not exactly sure what happened. And the thyme looks like it's doing good too, because this thyme was looking a little spent when I first planted it. I don't know if you can see that. I got the sun. There we go. And it looks like it's coming back pretty decent. So the reason I planted the mint and the thyme in those beds is because they are very invasive. If I planted them in a garden bed with other plants, they would take over. I had an herb bed one time I made out of a kiddie pool, and that it was planted with rosemary, mint, thyme, basil, maybe had an oregano plant in there. But by the end of the season, it was nothing but mint and thyme, and they were all intertwined with each other. Everything else I got choked out. And the mint and the thyme came back the next year. They didn't even all the way die back or go dormant, but they did stop growing for like the winter. And they started growing again the following year. And when they started to grow the following year, there was just no way I could plant anything else in there. So that is why I went and got, well, when I got these Vego beds, I had put a couple of them together. So I had some end pieces that were extra, and I made those circular beds out of that. And it worked out really good because the mint and the thyme needed that space. The other herbs, like you saw me do in another video, I planted here, and then I also put some throughout. Like I might put some basil. I think I started some basil seeds, some basil, some dill, and little things out in different spaces. And as you can see, I have not mulched yet. I'm gonna do it, but I ain't did it yet. So that's just kind of where we at. But anyways, that video went from it just being a quick update on that tomato plant to me just kind of showing you a couple of things. I hope that you enjoy. Like, share, subscribe, grow this channel with me. Let's do this journey together. ask me any questions. Give me some ideas of some videos you want me to do, and I'll try to get that for you. Until next time, be blessed.